right. Hey, how's everybody doing now that you're fed? Thank you, Black Market Smokehouse, for providing the delicious barbecue today here, and of course all of our sponsors for being here. He's messing up the flow. We gotta give him a grand. We gotta give him a nice welcome. He drove all the way down here. Come on, guys. Not yet, though. Not yet. My name is Mike the Intern. This is my friend, and we've been working together for a year now.
1 year, and it's been great.
Well, thank you for doing it with me in the morning, every morning, and talking sports with this guy. I've learned, you guys have no idea, hanging out with
this guy right here needs the Congressional Medal of Honor. I have to look at this shit.
No, man. You guys know, I'm serious. It's a gift to hang out with him every morning, and thank you for being a part of the show today. It's a blast, and we just got him a coffee cup, so that was his year gift. Anyway, you guys ready to get this thing started? Okay, our guest.
Before we bring Mitch on, now, Mitch is the guest of honor, yes. That is true. But he is outranked tonight. This is a great privilege for all of us, and I've had the personal privilege before in the past. I want you all folks to meet Governor, the #1 citizen of the state of Missouri, the Honorable Mike Parson, right here.
Originally, I thought I was in trouble when the law came up to me and told me what was going on, but I was like, oh, never mind, I'm cool. Clear record, we're good.
Governor also happens to be a Chiefs season ticket holder, so he is all good. Now, Mike, here's one of those questions.
All right. I've been listening to this guy for a long time. I mean, as far as sports announcing goes, I mean, he lives the love we have with this team. Am I right? Yeah. And you hear it in his voice, that's what it's all about. Nobody does it better. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus.
It's been a big day. Those of you who followed the news of the Chiefs team, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I've said this before, and Ned and I have known each other for a long time, but I'm not sure there's more of a hotbed in the Chiefs kingdom for the fervor of the Kansas City Chiefs than Springfield, Missouri. I learn something all the time. I know the Tomahawk Tailgaters. You guys know them, right? They went to the Super Bowl last year. They won the contest. I didn't know that. And I didn't know Ric Flair was a Chiefs fan until tonight. I knew the governor was, but it's awesome to see you, Governor, by the way. And it's terrific to be here. But we're going to get this started off right. Are we ready to roll? Because one of the things we do, if you follow us at Chiefs.com or 65TPT, the Chiefs Radio Network, we're trying to give you stuff all the time because the Chiefs Kingdom has an insatiable appetite. One of the cool things we do is and Andy's great, he allows us to mic up players at certain times, and you can kind of get behind the scenes. Our new franchise show that a lot of you have seen is kind of a Hard Knocks version, kind of about the smart ass stuff, but it's been so well received. But this is an example last year, the Arizona game. It was an emotional game. It was on November the 11th. It was the 100th anniversary of the armistice. I remember before the game, we wanted to make something out of it. And at 11 o'clock, which the 11th hour, the 11th month, the 11th day, in World War I, 1918, the bells rang, and we started ringing the bells at the stadium. It was kind of cool. Our players stopped. Then the Arizona players stopped, and we had the National World War I Museum in Kansas City. It was just a big, cool day. It's also a record-setting day for a young quarterback that we had became the NFL MVP. I was here with him in March. Some of you might have been there that night. I thought, what planet am I on? Because 1,500 people there. Anyway, it was awesome. But let's take a second just to get really fired up for the night and take you back to that Arizona game, because this was the game where we had Patrick mic'd up. So let's just take a second, take a look. Thanks to you two, and we're going to let this roll.
Hey, let's dominate today. Hey, let's dominate today. Let's dominate today. All day. Hey, from the get-go, dominate. Don't give it a chance. Set the tempo early, baby. Set the tempo early, baby. Set it early. Ready? Fight!
Pressure again on quarterback Patrick Mahomes. It was Peters who pile drove him into the ground.
Hey, let's go! Let's go! 98 full body stem my ass on the chest. Come on, baby! It was a good one, too. Hey, it's where you close games out, right, baby? Hey, here we go, finish the game! Finish the game! Finish the game! All right!
Now they're going to go trap play inside Spencer Ware. He drives into the end zone. Touchdown! Kansas City on the inside trap.
Hey, what make plays on finishing, baby? What make plays on finishing?
And the Chiefs, with the #1 record in the AFC, expand that to 9 wins and 1 loss.
It's your back-to-back-to-back AFC West champions, and your and my NFL MVP, Patrick Mahomes. That little piece gives you an idea of just how brilliant the kid is. And we know about 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards passing. I was talking to some guys back there before we started, and honestly, when you look at the 50 touchdowns, 35 were in the red zone. And I knew the first camp when I saw him run red zone scout offense against the first team. The key to the red zone is you got to hit the blue moon sign from 20 yards to 10 yards to 5 yards, because the red zone is arena football. He's just phenomenal. And the photographic memory, It's not just throwing no-look left passes or left-handed passes. The kid is a brilliant kid. And he has an uncanny knack for leadership. Every season we'll have flashpoints, sometimes a couple of them. Last year's big flashpoint was December the 2nd, when the Kareem Hunt video came out. It happened Friday afternoon after the game plan had all been put in. They were long weeks. But Friday afternoon and evening, my wife's here by the way, and we'll enjoy Friday evenings, but everything's done. After everything was done, that video came out. Patrick Mahomes called a meeting by himself with the team, no coaches, and said this changes nothing. In fact, he had an adjective he used in there. He's a good dude, but he'll put some Joe Pesci in there sometimes. But this changes nothing. And a 23-year-old kid basically showed the savvy of a 35-year-old, 15-year veteran. So there's a lot of reasons to be excited about our quarterback.
Thank you, Mitch. That is very well said. Yeah. In regards to Mahomes and the fact that he is a 23 years old, he's a kid. Have you been around QBs like that who have demonstrated that level of leadership?
Zero, none. Alex Smith has it too, and I'm always going to be a champion for Alex Smith. Tammy White and
I also would like to introduce my friend, our Hains.
Our Hains, we're doing a remote here tonight at the Riff. Reminder the Bears will be playing tonight at 6 o'clock at Hains Field. Doubleheader. No. There'll come a day, I tweeted this out this summer, that there will be a day when we put Alex Smith's name up in the Ring of Honor. He deserves to be there. Alex has been there since 2006. This kid, Mahomes, there's something, he just has this innate ability to lead. He's a natural leader. And just everything about him, kind of physically and emotionally, he gets it. And now everybody's wondering, is he going to have his feet on the ground, right? I really think, tomorrow's the 20th of July. I expect him to see the moon landing, like the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, like there's Mahomes, he's Neil Armstrong. I mean, yesterday, if you saw him, he's riding a horse in the ocean. Of course, you guys saw him, we were down at the University Plaza, but I'm just betting on this kid that he'll keep his feet on the ground.
Mitch, when you look back into the history of football, and you're certainly well versed in that stuff, I don't mean that chronologically, but who would you compare him to among the great QBs of the past?
Yeah, I always hear the Favre comparison, and I don't think that's really accurate, because what we overlook in the 50 touchdowns was the low amount of interceptions. Oh my gosh. Because everybody expected, hey, he might have 40 touchdown passes, but he's going to have 18 interceptions. That wasn't the case. And Favre was a little careless with the ball. So far, Patrick has not shown him being careless. I really think he's more of an Aaron Rodgers type in the fact that he's so precise and where he wants to put the ball. It was 2 years ago at our Boys and Girls Club event here in Springfield that Kelsey was with me, and he said, I love Alex. Alex would throw it to me if I'm open. Patrick throws me open. And that's what an Aaron Rodgers does. That's what a Tom Brady does. And I really would put him in that category because he's not shown, hey, I'm a gunslinger. He still is taking, in his mind, a split-second calculated risk. And, Favre just kind of crazy, and let's go, and hey, what's going to happen? And Patrick hasn't shown me.
Arthur, we haven't touched on the story today yet. You want to start it?
First of all, I was looking for a place to sit down, and I saw Mike was sitting here, and then I saw your friend Jack was on the other side. And I didn't want to disturb Jack, so I disturbed Mike instead.
If you do, you're dead, man.
I know. Yeah, the big story, of course, earlier today, and it has not been met with very much adulation, I guess, nationally. And most people are thinking that Tyreek Hill got off easy and that the league was not showing consistency. Obviously, the league in its statement said hey, we don't have any evidence that he did anything worthy of a suspension, and the law enforcement authorities in Johnson County thought the same. I was thinking, like a lot of people, well, he's going to get 2 games just because they've gone through all this. But so, I take it, and of course this is a room full of Chiefs fans, but if he didn't do anything, why is he deserving of being suspended? And that was the, and that was the tactic the league ended up taking.
We need to take a kind of a broad look at this whole situation. And there's a lot of lessons to be learned here for all of us. And the 3 of us up here involved in the journalistic world. And we're in a difficult, strange time in that regard. You can say what you want about the explosion of social media, but honestly, it kind of reminds me of To Kill a Mockingbird, the famous book and movie, where we take a person out hanging and then we try him. And that's what happened in this case, because on March the 15th, when most of you heard this, and some of that was we were still stinging from Kareem Hunt, and most thought that's another Kareem Hunt situation. Then March 10th turned into April the 10th. April the 10th turned into May the 10th and June the 10th. And obviously July the 10th. And the compass started to move completely in a 180-degree direction in this regard. Now, we have seen media people affected by it. There's going to be some boomerang effect, already has been. But it's also a sad situation because that little boy's involved. He's got new little twins. Tyreek really wants to show that he can be a dad. If you go and look at his, the right kind of dad, if you look at his statement today, just do that when we're done and when we go home. I really think Tammy and I were looking at it on the drive down here, and it's really, I think, well thought out. Now, we have to be careful, though, in anything that we do, to be careful to make the rush to judgment. It could be politics, it can be commerce, business. We live in a world where people are trying to influence us all the time, and we rush to judgment. And we do hang, then we try. And that's a perfect example of this situation. Now, to your point, Art, I think you're dead on with it. What are you going to suspend him for? The thought was, after we realized, oh gosh, this is different than we thought, it was going to be on what he stated in his, basically, you can, however you want to say, a threat, or what he stated to Crystal in that conversation that was recorded unbeknownst to him in Dubai. And then the entire 11 minutes came out. And then when you looked at it in the context of the 11 minutes, everybody went, oh, maybe we need to think about this. Not that this is a matter in this case, I'm not going to say that, but we started to learn things about factitious disorder. I didn't even know what that was. But without getting too deep into it, it's a night in a way to be relieved, I think, and a night to let Tyreek start this next phase of his life, along with everybody else involved in this case. But it's also a lesson learned here, too, that not to necessarily rejoice, because there's just a lot of things to keep into account. Not to get too serious, I know we're trying to be lighthearted here. That's really, I think, the matter with this situation. The other thing to think about, the National Football League, Art and Ned, you're right. What are you going to suspend him on? Now, we're getting ready for a collective bargaining agreement here very soon. And one of the contentious points for the Players Association has been, Commissioner Goodell's got a lot of power. Judge, jury, execution, right? That's what they say. No, I'm not saying that. That's what they've said, or some have said. And if you do something where you're going, well, wait a minute, we're really going to challenge that, it doesn't put them in a great position of like, so they're looking at every case. No two cases are the same. But this is one where I think the league said, hey, we got to really be careful with this one. And Cowboy fans can say Ezekiel Elliott, not the same case. It's not the same. Kareem Hunt, not the same. Ray Rice, not the same. And so this has to be looked at in mathematical terms with an absolute value bracket.
There was video with Ray Rice.
Right. And Kareem Hunt.
Now, you did bring out a very interesting point, though, in the fact that we're all free media. I will admit to you that when this whole episode came out, was on the air, and I threw the hammer at the station for doing what they did. They got the evidence. Instead of immediately turning it over to the prosecutor and the police,
They put it on the air.
in your opinion, an ethical procedure on their part.
That's a hard one. Let's get to another Bud Light. Hey, Springfield Cardinals playing tonight? I don't know.
You still got it, Ned.
He sure does. I'm really perplexed by it. I'm perplexed by that and what happened. Because now that we look at it, the media outlet took basically that 11 minutes and edited what they wanted out of it to maybe make their case. And wow, that's not what that's not what any of us learn. I mean, it goes. We could talk about our journalism students at Missouri State or Drury, or we go up to Mizzou. I mean, what are we doing here, people? Because we see it happening also in politics. I don't care where you see it on an issue. We see things edited and presented to make our point instead of saying, where's the truth? And this is it. That's why I'm glad you asked a tough question, but wow, perplexing.
You brought up another interesting point too. We are all three older media types. The industry has changed markedly.
Yeah, social media's changed it. We all have to. I mean, I love social media. Some of you follow me on Twitter. Yeah, I'm at 52,100 followers. I could be at 53 by the time we're done tonight. I'm only 450,000 behind Patrick Mahomes. I can catch him in 2072 with what other media source we're using that or social media. We all know how the impact of social media positively, but wow, we're also seeing what it can do negatively because there have been accusations made about personnel, people, individuals, and then it's proven to be wrong, and then you just drift away. Kind of like a cockroach lurking into the night. You know? So, yeah, it's a challenge. So all of us, I think, have to have a responsibility. Just kind of wait and see, take a breath, and go, let me search the truth here, whether it's this matter or others.
I'm just listening to Mitch.
Yeah. Let me bring up some stuff that we were talking back here. Here's what I'm going to give you some reason to be excited tonight. Part of the new kind of media or podcast, which to me is awesome because we're getting over ADD, right? Usually it's like 28 seconds. It's like, I don't even know what I thought about 26 seconds ago. Now we're going, wait a minute, I want 30 minutes so I can drive and listen to something thought-provoking, which I think is kind of cool. My gals wearing the touchdown Kansas City shirts. Let me look at it right here. That's awesome. Now just take a look though. The middle one is the mom. Doesn't she look like it's one of the sisters? What are we doing there? Nice. Way to go. And I know a lot of you came up and saw my wife for tonight. Goes, that your daughter? So that happens all the time. She was a Division I basketball player. So I was used to, Ned, when we played co-ed softball, like, we got enough guys. But could your wife play? Just make sure you bring the cooler to back up right field in the seventh inning. And she was really fast, track athlete, state champion, but I caught her twice. We have 2 kids. But I'm 2 and about 2,400. I'm going to say this about numbers, because some of you are asking, we were talking about this. This is on a couple of these podcasts. But how does Patrick Mahomes replicate 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, right? Come on, it's only been done in one other time in NFL history. But let's think about this, and when you want to get fired up about the 2019 Chiefs. Okay, do some numbers here. Last year, we were last in the National Football League in preventing 3-and-outs. We only did it 13.9% of the time. We were 32nd, and 31st was a long way away. Okay? This year, and here's where this team will improve more than you know, because we don't know until we know. I'm telling you, this defense.
Yeah.
Look out. So let's say they don't go all the way to Pluto. This defense moves maybe to, Mars. If it just goes that far, it will give Patrick Mahomes 12 to 13 more possessions. Last year, we scored 53.9% of the time. We're number one in the NFL in the ratio that we scored. So I figured it out. That would give him 12 to 13 more possessions, half sevens, half threes. It's that you're giving Patrick Mahomes 12 more cards to make his hand. He didn't have that last year. And if we scored the same ratio, last year we would have been 15-1. Okay? So there's reason to get excited. Another reason, this is the last one, is special teams. We have been the best special teams in the NFL since Andy Reid and Dave Tote got here. We've always been able to shift the field, moving if you did a computer grab. Last year we didn't do that, you guys. Didn't do it as much. And we only had one punt return for a touchdown, the aforementioned Tyreek Hill in week 1, and only one kickoff return that was big and explosive, 97 yards against the Patriots, and that didn't score, got down to the 3-yard line. Well, one stat is, in 6 years under Andy Reid and Dave Tote, we have 11 punt or kick returns for touchdowns. We've only lost one time in 6 years when we've had a return, kick or punt return for a touchdown, only once. The opponents in 6 years have had 0. Okay, so we're pretty good at it. But last year was like your child who's good in math and gets A's, but I'm a B+. What's that? We didn't move the shift the field. So now, two things. If the defense can get off the field, get the opponents off the field, and shuffle and give Mahomes 12 more cards, and if Mahomes doesn't have to go this far, but this far, remember the 35 touchdowns in the red zone hitting the blue moon sign? Now he doesn't have to go as far. Last year we had the most drives, had to go 75 yards or more than any team in the NFL. We went 99, 95, 89, 88, 78, 79. Now you give that dude the ball at their 40 or our 40? Just saying. And that's where the buoys, the water can rise, even if there's a regression in the mean with the offensive production.
And Mitch, why were you so confident about the defense when Tyrann Matthew said the other day, hey, it's still going to be a challenge. So don't forget what we did last year, 31st in the NFL.
Well, I think Andy told him to kind of dumb that down a little bit. There are 3 things to look at, Ned. And to me, it's the most compelling question going into camp. Because this is why the outside-in folks have thought, Chiefs are going to regress. Oh, the Chargers are going to win it, right?
Every year.
Oh, every year. Chargers are going to win that deal. They're going to win.
Next year's champions.
We're 21-3 against the AFC West the last 4 years. This is a minute with Mitch coming up. You see that on the color time. The last time we lost on a Sunday to a division opponent was 2014. Because all 3 of those losses were Thursday nights. Okay, just take that into play. All right, 3 things here. Why? 1, the staff changed. Now, I like Bob Sutton, and I'm going to defend Bob Sutton. Look at 4 of his 6 years.
Yes.
However, staff-wise, this staff is a bunch of dynamos. Because Steve Spagnuolo is a heat-seeking missile. But because of Spags and Andy, we get Brandon Daly from the New England Patriots, 3-time world champion defensive line. And guys, what he did with New England was take players with maybe this level of ability, and they played at this level on the field. Local guy went to Drake, played at Drake, married a Kansas City girl, St. Thomas Aquinas. His father-in-law is a K-State architect. He came back home, oh my gosh. Take no prisoners on the defensive line. Linebacker. To get Matt to come in from the University of Kentucky, and I was just with some Kentucky football staffers this last Saturday, and at the Snyder reunion in Manhattan, they go, oh my gosh, the dude is a dynamo. I've seen him make an impact. On the back end, David Merritt and Sam Madison. So it's staff, it's scheme. You will see us do a lot of different things. We got a little stuck last year and kind of doing the same stuff. And this group is teaching. They are teaching the little nuances and details of scheme. Third, I would say the new players. People talk about Frank Clark. It's hard for him to turn the throttle down. I'm telling you, you go to camp, the gals, the Kansas City gals are going to camp, watch Frank Clark. Every day the throttle's wide open. But what I saw, and I was on our show and I told him this, what What I saw this spring and summer, Alex Okafor. If any of you saw him play at the University of Texas, that's the way he's played this spring and summer. One time, Mahomes, you saw him on the tape, he's so quick, his eyes can dart in a fraction of a second. He darts and throws. It looked like Venus flytrap swallowed the ball. It was Alex Okafor. And Mahomes turned his head like a dog whistle as Mahomes goes in, Okafor goes in for a pick six. And it was like, oh my gosh. And then you mentioned the Honey Badger, Darren Lee, perhaps. But then our returning players. Our returning players on defense feel like they've been rejuvenated. A Daniel Sorensen, an Anthony Hitchens, a Derek Nadi. Those guys, they're in another category. That's why I think this defense has the chance to be really nasty. Because our best Chiefs defenses had an attitude. I don't care if you're Missouri State, or Mizzou, or whomever, the best defenses have this kind of, they've got this synergy about them. We're starting to develop that. I'm real fired up about this defense.
Are you concerned the Chris Jones thing will linger?
For Chris's case, I hope not. Because I will tell you, this train has left the station. These defensive guys are not going to wait for Chris Jones or any of us. And Chris, like Chris a lot, Chris is going to have to relearn and recalibrate everything because it is a 4-3. His assignment will change. And when Chris is disciplined and stays within the scheme, he can be very effective. 7'4" wingspan. We've seen him, sacks, 11 straight weeks, NFL record. But with these dudes, whole new grid, whole new schematic. And for Chris in his career, the best thing to do is like salespeople. You tell them, just go do the work. The compensation will take care of itself. And I think in Chris's case, that's the attitude he needs to have. I don't know. I can't answer that, Art. I hope not for Chris's sake. I hope his agent, because the agents are the silent dudes. It's the team and the player. Team and player. There's always a broker involved somewhere. And you're like, where's that broker in this deal? I tell your guy, get into camp, tear it up, and then become a premier player, and then let the compensation take care of itself.
Mitch, last year, although he didn't contribute a whole lot on the field, he was the spiritual leader of the defensive backfield. Is there one this year, in your opinion?
Well, that's a great question. I think we'll see at camp. Training camp tells us a lot. In that 5 weeks that we're in St. Joe, and then a couple of weeks that we're in Kansas City, that's when you really start to define your team. You can kind of start to thread the laces a little bit with OTAs and with mini camps in the summer, but it's really training camp, because that's when it gets down to every day, every minute, every second. Who's that going to be? I'm not sure. Frank Clark is built that way. I think Hitchens will have more of a role. I think he'll have a better year in this defense and this scheme. And then the Honey Badger is kind of wired that way. But we'll see. I'm not sure who those players are, but it's a better, I think I'll have more of an idea on August 25th than July 19th.
Well, we've heard really good things about Honey Badger as a teammate, that he has come in and really embraced that role in a short span of time. And who knew? I mean, I guess in other places where he's been, Houston and Arizona, but he's had kind of a persona, the Honey Badger. That's a neat nickname. Everybody knows he's a good player, but it sounds like he's really an excellent teammate.
I think he has a lot to prove, too. When you, not discarded by two teams, I mean, the salary cap is what it is. Chris Conley's a Jaguar, right? I wish he was still here, but I mean, you just can't keep all your guys and let's all pay everybody. And pretty soon we're going to have to pay the guy that was here in March that was riding horses in the ocean, right? That's going to eat up a chunk of the cap, and then that's a whole other dynamic. But I think he has a lot to prove. And I feel like being around Andy in this our family, basically, because Andy's been a very transformational coach. Leaders, the good leaders, are transformational. And I think he's loving that. It's not what he's had at the other two places. And I think he's kind of soaking that in and thinking this is pretty cool. Our 5 safeties are going to be really good. Not just him, but you're going to like Juan Thornhill, the rookie out of Virginia. You're going to like that cat. I hope he's healthy. He had a little hamstring issue and lower leg issue during minicamp. But there were times before he got hurt, he was explosive, 44-inch vertical, could have played Division I basketball. The way we'll play him in our scheme, he will be a perfect complement to the Honey Badger. Daniel Sorensen, I'm going to sit here and defend Daniel Sorensen. Daniel Sorensen, because everybody remembers the Ram game. They got lined up outside on Ellard, and he can't cut, he was hurt then. But I'm going to show you tape up here of his pick 6 against Drew Brees, his pick against Tom Brady last year that gave us a shot to win the AFC Championship game. But to me, Daniel Sorensen is kind of a Whit Merrifield. He can hit 1 through 3 and maybe 7, 8, 9, but he's not a 4-hole hitter. Okay, he's not Soler. That's for you. That's for you, Dan.
Thank you.
Cardinals son here. But the point is, he's perfect if he's in a role where Thornhill and Honey Badger can do A, B. He rolls in at C. Then you get Jordan Lucas, who had an explosive play last year against Jacksonville, good on special teams. And then you get Armani Watts, who's just starting to crank it up, ACL injury, and now he's back and looks fully recovered. That's 5 really good safeties. The corner position, maybe we're not the best in the league, but we're not the worst. And I'm Rashad Breeland from the Packers coming in. Tavares Ward, I got great high hopes for him, and Kendall Fuller's a stud. So that group will be okay. But I think Honey Badger senses that for this point in his career, he's got a shot. He's got a shot at doing this. And he's got a shot at, or he's at a place where he loves coming to work every day. And that's big for a veteran who's knowing that he's probably on the second half of his career. For any of us, right?
Mitch, let's talk a little bit about you and the season last year in broadcasting. You had a trip to Mexico City, all planned. I'm sure you had your hotel reservation down there, and it went to hell in a handbag. How did you react to that, and your thoughts on playing in Mexico City this year?
Yeah, so one of our scouts came up to me, saw me, and he says, "Have you seen their field at Estadio Azteca?" I said, "No." They had a Shakira concert, and then we're seeing like the Google Earth views of the field, and it looked like a feedlot. And I grew up on a farm. And that's actually it's just courteous to feedlots everywhere. But I thought, look at it fixed, right? There's just too much on this game. They got to get this fixed. Then they have another concert. I think they, started to feed cattle there. Anyway, it became an issue, and they said, I think the players had said, we're not going to play on that field. I'll go where I'm supposed to go, okay? I've been to England, been to Monterrey, Mexico for a preseason game, been to Tokyo 2 or 3 times. I'll go where they want us to go. I think, though, with this discussion, where it becomes compelling, is the game for the NFL is becoming international. I saw it in London. When we played the Lions in London, I could not, it was like being here tonight. And lots of Chiefs fans, but tons of fans of other teams. As we get closer to what's the future of the NFL, and you could probably guys have discussed this on your shows, where is this going to be a 16-game season? Is this going to be an 18-game season? I see every team every year playing an international game as a neutral game. Like we don't have to, hey, Tomahawk tailgaters ain't going to give up a home game, right? There too much coming. Ric Flair ain't going to give up a home game. And we don't have to give up a home game. We'll all go in. Rio de Janeiro wants a game. The Germans won a game. The English won a whole bunch more games. They won every week. It's turned into an international game. So whether I like it or not, I got to keep. My wife goes, keep your passport updated because it's going to be a matter. It's going to be a fact a lot. I think it'll be a longer season. There has to be a bye week after you play overseas. The other issue is Thursday night football. Mentioned we're 21-3 and only 3 losses are Thursday night games. Thursday nights are very difficult on the players. I think in the negotiation for the next collective bargaining agreement, you could see another bye week come into play, where if you play on a Thursday night, you're getting a bye week. You play Sunday, bye, Thursday, then you have a longer 10 days for the next week. That means 2 more weeks to the regular season. Your Super Bowl could be played the last weekend in February. Just saying. But you're going to have maybe an 18-game schedule with 2 more bye weeks. This is the shortest, and you're going, well, wait a minute, that seems like a real long season. Check how long the Cardinals season is. Any Blues fans in here kind of love that? So how many kids will be 18 years from now announce the graduation stage with the first name of Bennington? Bennington Reynolds. Our Hains, our special guest, Bennington Jackson, is a star for Hillcrest. Check how long the NHL season is. Are you MLS fans? Check the MLS schedule. It starts like when we start and ends when we start. I mean, it's so the NFL is the shortest of the major seasons. But if you put in bye weeks to protect your players, you got to protect the health of the players. But I could see a longer schedule, international game, where we could be playing 1 year in Mexico, Ned, the next year in England, the next year in Brazil, and the next year in Germany. But that's what I think is in the future.
So you're seeing maybe an 18-game schedule over 20 weeks?
Yeah, I am. And then your playoffs stay the same. So, but then you're, okay, Ned, you live this life. What's one of the big sweeps months in television or video?
February, and then a whole lot in November and February.
Yes, so the NFL has what, 7 of the top 10 rated TV programs now? Now you get February. And you only have 1 week in February now, the Super Bowl week. Oh, let's give them all of February. And it's just like eating 2 more planets, right? And so you can have March Madness, there you go, baby. But you may be going to a Bears basketball game watching Dana Ford win the Valley title at JQH and then head up with the tailgaters the next day to get ready for a Chiefs game playing in the AFC Championship.
Being a Missouri Valley Conference announcer for many, many years, how would you handle that?
Well, I've been trying to think that through. Because last year was difficult. It was the longest season I had. And as you know, I've done ESPN and done Valley games for, this will be my 25th year in a league that I love. Wow, it became difficult because the weeks, and Art will tell you, every day of the week, Tim will tell you, is accounted for something. And you just don't tell Andy Reid, oh, I can't do this today, Andy, I gotta go do a ball game. You know, and so it becomes very interesting. So personally, if this season becomes longer, it's less and less logistically even possible to maybe continue that. I will say this, publicly I'm going to scale back my basketball, not so much with the Valley, but some other stuff. I've been in Big 12 games for the last, 12 years. But it's just physically impossible to do it anymore, particularly when this team is going to play into January, baby. It does change the dynamic when our season goes longer, but who cares? How cool was it to have the AFC Championship game? We were today with a special ceremony and fundraising at Kansas City Police Department. It's so exciting what's going to come forward here for our region in the next 7 to 10 years. We're going to have World Cup, soccer matches, the NFL draft is coming to Kansas City. And I said, they're going, oh, we could be 300,000 people here. And I go, yeah, 175,000 will be from Springfield. All of you will be there. But it's just exciting what's coming forward here in the next 7 to 10 years. I'm not sure we've had that element of excitement really since maybe the Stram Dawson days. And I was just a little kid. I don't remember those. But wow, this is on, people. It's on. And we have the NFL MVP as our quarterback, and he's 23 years old. Broncos don't have him, and the Chargers don't have him, and the Raiders don't have him.
Mitch, as you go around the kingdom, do you see things like this everywhere you go? They may not all have the governor in attendance, but
that's pretty cool. Or Ric Flair.
Yeah. But does this scene play out all around?
I'm seeing it more and more, and I do get the blessing of traveling the entire kingdom. Wow. I mean, I'm telling you, Des Moines on fire. Wichita's on fire. And it's one of the things that I love most, I think I love most about the Chiefs Kingdom is how unifying it is. We're divided on so many things, and it's like, wow, if we're going to kind of get stuff done and keep our country rolling, we got to kind of figure this out and try to get stuff done instead of just having sumo wrestles every day. But we may disagree. But you guys all know this because we've got season ticket holders all over this gathering tonight. When that ball kicks off and you're high-fiving those folks that sit next to you that might be from 4 hours the other way, everybody comes together. And Ned and Ara will tell you, the best thing about the Chiefs Kingdom that I love is how unifying it is. And growing up on a farm in north central Kansas and listening to the games and acting like I was Lenny Dawson, you know, playing at this over by the hog, the Farron house, that was Oakland. But to tie rural and urban together, only the Packers can really say that they do that like we do it. It's too many awesome, cool things. And you guys and gals, when you go to the stadium and see it, because you have friends that you sit next to that may live in Des Moines or St. Joe or, I don't know, Maryville or even downtown Kansas City, but you can't wait to see them. And it's going to be roll, baby, when we get there. Because God help every team coming in and play us.
Mitch and Arthur and certainly Ned Reynolds will vouch for this, as will everybody who chooses this discipline of the media to follow. That's why we do sports announcing. Yes, the news people will tell you, oh, you guys do the dessert, nobody gives a damn. That's why we do it, because people do give a damn. And with your permission, I'm going to ask if anybody in the audience has any questions, please holler them out. Mitch will be happy. Yes, sir.
You guys familiar with a little survey that was done about a month ago?
Yeah.
On Kansas City Chiefs fans. They rated top to bottom, all right, you know, top to bottom, the best fans in the NFL. How in the hell do you pick 30 teams above us and we end up 31st in the NFL? Are we not the loudest state in the NFL? Woo! If we not bring tailgating to the mountaintop? Okay. If we played on the mountaintop, we'd be out in the snow for 6 hours waiting for the game. How do we end up 31st in the NFL on Chiefs fans? Unwatched.
You guys handle that, and then I'll jump.
There were two things against us. It was the methodology. One was social media presence. They really overrated that. And one was ticket prices, and ours were not as high as some others.
Thank God.
So you get penalized because our fans don't pay as much and because they're not as active on social media. Now, ESPN, about a week later, went in and corrected it. They did not do the original poll. It was out of a university in Georgia, but they did their own staff rankings, and they based it on, the record, the loyalty of the fans, the stadium atmosphere, the tailgating. Guess who was number one? Kansas City.
In the original survey, the last place team, which made me happy, was the Los Angeles Rams.
Right.
So, okay, Art, thank you.
There's a lot of flaw. I mean, about 20 paragraphs ago when I was talking about social media. I mean, there was that thing was so flawed. It was like I started reading it. I'm not even going to waste my time reading this piece of garbage. So, yeah, but I'll say this: there's other metrics the league uses. They call it WALL, which is watch, attend, listen. And what's cool about us, and here's where I'm very proud, and with our broadcast, we have Pittsburgh and us are like 1 and 2, go back and forth. The highest activation of women fans and listeners and viewers in the NFL.
I ran a little organization called the Wolf Den, and 80 paying members gathering money at parties. 48% were women.
So look at this. Look at this. I mean, so it's amazing what we've done. So some of that stuff, whatever.
Fire away.
Is there any room for somebody from the defense and negotiations to become a coach? Ex-player, former player.
I haven't heard that. No, and I think that would be. Now, what you're going to see during camp is there is a NFL initiative to have basically a minority plan. It's for minority coaches to become your camp coaches. Michael Vick was with us a couple camps ago. So you're going to see some of our former players in that role. Last year, Sean Barber did it. So don't confuse that for someone being a full-time staff member. We got our staff ready to go, and I love them. This group, wow, we got a great staff. So.
First of all, I'd like to say I don't think I've seen this much greatness on the stage. The video catching me. I'm glad you brought up defense, because I want to talk about, quietly, I think we've been making some splashes that we'll refer to those guys over there in the Bay Area and those guys up there in that Cleveland area have been making on offense. We made them on defense. But there's one player in particular I want to know your opinion on, and that's our various sports. We've seen him show flashes. And when I look at the defense, we haven't really had the personnel to run a 3-4 since Don Poe left. We would go 4-3. Spags is there. I think we have Okafor and Jones, Frank Clark. I think we have the makings of the best defensive line, if not one of, if not the best defensive line in football. Our linebackers being able to play in position as 3 and not as 4, I think is going to make a big difference. Tano Pasquio, want to know about him.
Yep.
Second round draft pick we received ago. But Charvarius Ward, you see him stepping up and cutting that back on the other side. That really makes a big difference in our defense.
Yeah, before I answer that, you wore that to the Rams game in LA?
On the plane.
On the plane. When you walk up to TSA and that, I'm just curious. Did it make you take the belt off?
And they did make me take the belt off.
And taking those shoes off? Did you? I hope you had like TSA pre-check. That's 2 hours to get those shoes off.
And I got to shake my legs.
Yeah. That's another matter. I didn't ask about your legs. So Charvarius Ward is a guy that I'm very excited about. I've seen him ascend. I mean, the guy that we got, basically nobody even knew when we got him what it was like. Okay, Middle Tennessee State. And then he really, we threw him into the fire last year, game at New England, but he really was ascending. Sometimes a single play can make a player emerge or regress, as it were. It would have been even bigger had it stood, because he would have gone into the lore of Chiefs history forever. But even making that play when he did and was disallowed, thinking, wow, the biggest time he made the biggest play, although there was an offside penalty in the other side. His size, the way these guys are teaching him his technique, I have high hopes for him. And not that he's Patrick Peterson, but hey, that group collectively, you're just going to see them, they'll play cloud technique. I don't want to get too technical, but we didn't play any cloud technique for 5 years, and that is basically he'll play with his shoulders to the inside, funneling the receivers to the inside. It's basically in a man-zone combo. Well, that, I don't have to jump off the high diving board. I can jump off the low diving board and do a pretty good job. And that's why these guys have seen him play to, this coach to play into his strengths. So I'm kind of fired up about it.
Woo! Raise your hand if you will, and Mike will bring you.
Hold on, I'll bring your mic up to you real quick.
I love this upper deck. How about the Zandy? This is awesome. And these guys are an awesome affiliate here, I gotta tell you. His one thing is to have a partner, Another is to have a partner in such a rapid area that activates it. And it's one of the best things, we have this, the most now, maybe. We have the most affiliates in the
so, yeah.
we have the most affiliates on the radio network in the National Football League. But not all affiliates are the same. These guys are awesome. And to activate it like this, because it says that they care about you guys and gals, right? I mean, we even have, if you go to the game, where's 417, Pat House or whatever that's called? Where are they? I mean,
Rod J. Rod J guys. Yeah, Rod J all day.
Okay, all day.
Yeah, Rod J. All right, your question, sir.
A best friend of mine, we were talking earlier right before this, and I apologize for being a little late, so I missed a little bit. But him and I discovered something that I've never heard of, and maybe I missed it, but our one, if you count the rookie, Hardman, 2 and 3, basically are the top, would have to be 3 fastest wide receivers in the league, hands down, not even close. 4.24.
Yeah. Can you read that tweet? Can you find that tweet?
And 4.43. And the fastest DB in the league, I think, was Patrick Peterson. We were looking at it, it was like, oh my God. I was a walk-on at Missouri State 20 years ago, and I was a corner.
You still look like you could play.
Thank you. I was a little bit lighter than as a corner. But my point is I'm still like gasping because I'm like, our third wide receivers a 4.4?
Yeah. Well, this was tweeted out today by a guy who's standing for here we go. This is the boss. Okay. You can use it. It's not my daughter, so you don't have to. To your point, because Tammy was driving down here, and Tammy read this out. The Chiefs in week 1 could field 10 personnel, which means, multiple wide receivers, with Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Byron Pringle, a name that you don't really know about yet, Nicole Hardman, and Damian Williams, one back and multi-wide receivers. The average 40 time of that group is 4.39 seconds. Finding a faster one in the NFL.
The fastest DB was Patrick Peterson. I think it was 4.38. I think.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the world?
I was the slow dude in track, so on the 4x1, like you're gonna run second, don't screw it up, just don't DQ us because you're an idiot. We had 4 anchor runners almost running the 4x1. And Pringle's and Art asked me a couple times about Pringle. I call them crock pot guys. And that is guys that we develop, but we put them in a crock pot and just let them simmer. Okay? And you know how good how the cooking of the tomahawk tailgaters is when you do that slow cooking. Sometimes we slow cook guys. We forget about it. We forgot about Pringle. He was killing it last year in preseason. Got hurt, put him in a crock pot. Mahomes is gaining confidence in him. And if he's your 4th, let's go.
You got another question up here real quick?
First of all, welcome home, Mr. Governor. And thank you to the 3 of you for coming and speaking, everyone. I'm hearing a lot of people say that we now have a year worth of film on Patrick Mahomes, so he's not going to be as effective. What say you?
You guys want to handle that?
That's going to happen though with every newcomer in football who does explode on the scene in the way Mahomes did. But this is a different situation because of number 1, his youth, and number 2, the tremendous level of ability that he has. Would you agree with that?
It's like Steph Curry in his 2nd year. Oh, we're going to know how to defend. You just saw it. Were you here for the video? Did you see the stuff? If you look at the nuances of it, how his head, he reacts so quickly. Defenses have got to say, we're just going to give something a shot. But I challenge you to find a defense, because here's the other thing, he processes things so quickly. You can show him XYZ blue, and it may get in for a while, may get in that play, but it's really hard to get him twice because he knows what to do. The second thing is having Andy Reid. Andy Reid's a genius.
Yes.
The third thing is Mike Kafka, a name not many of you know.
Yes.
The year that he sat out, meaning Mahomes, not sat out, but he apprenticed under Alex Smith, Kafka, good Northwestern quarterback, was basically his caddy. It's like they went out here and played the Payne Stewart course every day. He's like, he's a 7-iron here and 6-iron here. So I'm giving you an answer because there's too many people involved in this going, here's your countermeasure. Here's what we do to, they show you this, here's what we do to that. Kafka has been brilliant. Mahomes trusts him as well. One of the best mic up things we did, I couldn't show you all of it, was when Patrick runs off the field and he goes and sits down on his little bench and Kafka's right there with him. And they got the iPad and they're just going do. About 40 seconds later, here comes Andy Reid. And he sits down. And those three are going back and forth crazy. And they're just like, I don't know who's listening to all three are talking. But they are outstanding at saying, here's what we'll do as a countermeasure. The great ones, you may get them some, but there's no kryptonite for the great ones. I have yet to see in a challenge, just because of his ability and how much assistance he has around him, you show me some kryptonite somewhere. It'll be the first piece of kryptonite I see.
We got another one from the upper deck here, sir.
Hi guys, I was just wondering how you think Carlos Hyde's going to fit into the offense this year, whether he's going to be more of a goal line back, or whether you think he's going to challenge Damian Williams to more carries in the offense. Thanks.
You know what, it's a great question because we've kind of forgotten about him too. We have Carlos Hyde? Okay. Running back will be one of the most, for the gals coming to St. Joe next week or the week after when you come up there, that will be one of the most fascinating position groups to watch. It will be razor thin. And Carlos Hyde obviously is in the mix. What I saw this spring and summer that reinforced me about how Carlos Hyde can help this team. I mentioned Andy Reid is brilliant. He could have a show on the Food Channel on how to run 100 screens. Oh my gosh. And there's part of your countermeasure. We're going to show Mahomes this. Here's a piece of kryptonite. And Andy's got some crazy screen that he's thought up that nobody's ever run ever before. And they're going, oh my gosh, what was that? Carlos Hyde has a sense of timing and ability to run those screens. I saw him running this and I'm thinking, okay, even if he becomes a specialty back, like are you going, should I take Damian Williams on my fantasy team? Maybe not, but the reality is you could have, and I talked to both of these guys up here, an algebraic equation against it, quadratic equation, A, B, C, and D. You don't have to have an RB1 Todd Gurley type. The complementary factor, Carlos Hyde's a great complement to Damian Williams. But don't forget Darrell Williams, great against the Colts in the divisional playoff victory. Everybody thought we were going to lose that game, right? Oh, you always lose in the Colts. You always lose in the 31-13. Boom. And 7 of the 13 is a big block punt. Although Darrell Williams screwed up the blocking on the block punt. I'm going to give you another one. Darwin Thompson, Utah State. Little dude about this big. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Jenks High School. We all know how good they are, right? Nobody recruited him. Went to NEO. Blew it up for a year at NEO. Now he's shopping around. Max schools. You know, I kind of wish the Bears would have gotten him. But he decides to go to Utah State and tears it up. That dude will be right in the mix. He too kind of fits that Westbrooky mold that Charkander West. Think about those guys. And maybe does a little better. Watch the running backs at camp in the preseason.
I got another one here, guys.
Well,
sorry.
Go ahead. We're ready.
Here, up top.
One more.
So you kind of answered my question there on D-Train, but kind of wanted to know a little bit more. In college, he came out of the backfield and come into the slot quite a bit, and I'm kind of wondering if we're going to do some 4-wide into 5-wide sets with him, and sort of with that, what's that going to mean for the offensive line? We know Mitch is good. I think Eric Fisher's come along nicely finally, and we're getting the doctor back. Wiley looked good, but I've kind of got a question mark on Breeder in the middle of that, or are they going to put Wiley in the middle of that?
You guys
What
want
have
to
you
answer?
seen at camp? Is kind of, I guess, what I want to know.
Yeah, Austin Ryder was a godsend last year when Mitch Morse went down with the injury. But I saw Mitch this summer attending some too. He's now the highest paid center in the league. You're going, hey, I'm a Mizzou fan. How come we couldn't keep Mitch Morse? Well, go back to the salary cap issue. You can't pay everybody everything. So Ryder, I think, becomes the question mark. But he was more than capable last year. There is some insurance. You've already alluded to it. And also, do not lose the fact that Cam Irving can play center. Cam plays center for the Cleveland Browns. So Schwartz, who just played every snap of his career, pretty cool. You mentioned the Canadian doctor. Ryder, possibly Andrew Wiley coming into play, and Wiley was our Mackley Hill winner. He can play right or left guard. Cam Irving can play left guard, and then you got Fisher at left tackle. But another guy to keep an eye on in training camp, gals, here's another one, crockpot guy you've forgotten about, Khalil McKenzie. Okay? Forgotten about him, crockpot, put him in there, let him simmer. Whoop, here he pops out. Do not go to sleep on that dude. Athlete, learning how to play. Spent time with Will Shields this offseason. You remember the scene in the franchise? It was Karate Kid, right? He spent time with Will Shields. Actually, Brett Beach had texted me and he goes, can you get him hooked up with Will Shields? I go, yeah, in like 20 seconds, let's go. Because I believe in McKenzie could be, if not 2019, possibly 2020. But I might lose sleep over some stuff. It ain't the offensive line. Yes. Let me give you one, though. You haven't asked about it, but tight end to me is very intriguing. Because Andy loves to play measure, countermeasure. Andy loves to go 3 tight ends. He's really revolutionized the game in that regard. So Kelsey, who else? I mean, there's not losing Demetrius Harris. Not that he's going to the Pro Bowl. We weren't terrible, but who's going to fill that role? And then who's the third guy? Because Andy loves to play countermeasure. One of the countermeasures is, we have 3 tight ends. You got to go small against that. Then we'll run it right up your rectal. And then, or you going big against it, then we got the MVP, we'll fire these guys. But I don't know who fills that role yet. There's a cat named John Lovett.
Yeah.
Princeton quarterback. Not Princeton, Missouri, but Princeton, New Jersey, Ivy League quarterback. Interesting to watch him. Kind of an H-back. Could be a future sausage. Could play tight end. We'll see. Blake Bell, the Belldozer, are you fans in here? Maybe. Okay. But there's no real firm answer yet. To me, that is the biggest question mark going into camp.
Ladies and gentlemen, is there any question as to why this man is a Hall of Fame?
Let's also hear for Mr. Hains. And of course, another Hall of Fame broadcaster for the state of Missouri, Ned Reynolds.